it will move to Cinema 2 to make room for Indivisible, the faith-based movie, showing in Cinema 1 on Wednesday night. We expect a heavier than usual turnout on Wednesday night for Indivisible. Faith-based movie about an army chaplain and his trials and tribulations serving in the Middle East and with a family back home. In Cinema 2 is Indivisible, PG-13, and it shows Monday through Thursday at 6:30. We'll move to Cinema 1 on Wednesday for that one evening. And in Cinema 3 for the last week, it's Halloween, rated R. It shows Monday through Thursday, 6:30, and then ends on Thursday. And coming Friday, Dr. Zeus, The Grinch. PG opens Friday. That's your lineup. More questions, call during movie hours, 365-0200, or use our 24-hour answering service number, 270-365-6900.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
You're going to need your umbrella going into work this morning, but by this afternoon, there's going to be mostly sunny skies with a high near 53. Partly cloudy overnight with an overnight low around 36. 20% chance of showers tomorrow. It's going to be mostly cloudy all day tomorrow with a high near 49. It's going to be chilly tomorrow. Rain likely after midnight tomorrow night with cloudy skies and lows around 38. Again, that's a 40% chance of rain before 11 o'clock this morning, with sunny skies this afternoon and highs near 53.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Bella Marie Boutique.
What does your morning sound like?
Morning, Al.
Next stop, 32nd Street.
Welcome to McDonald's.
Hi, can I get an Egg McMuffin, please?
Here's to making your morning routine a little better with a delicious breakfast from McDonald's.
1580 103.3 WPKY. Time is 8:27. We are joined this morning by our guest Melissa Thomas and Chip Hutcheson. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Yes, thank you for having us.
And what have you got for us this morning?
Well, I was invited here to come and talk about adoption. It's Orphan Sunday is coming up this coming Sunday, and November is Adoption Awareness Month, and adoption is very near and dear to my heart. I have 3 adopted children from Haiti. My oldest adopted daughter just came home 3 months ago, so it's near and dear to my heart. My husband and I decided in 2012 that we wanted to extend our family, and we started researching adoption, and it led us to where we are today. So we have 3 adopted children and 2 biological children, so it's a busy household in the Thomas family.
What you said? What are the ages of your children?
They are 8, 9, 10, 13, and 14.
And which 2 are the biological? What ages?
Biological are 9 and 14.
Okay.
So we have all age ranges, and it's just, we've been so blessed by adoption. Brock and I, my husband's name is Brock Thomas, and we went into this thinking that we could adopt one child, send our family that way, and then now here we are with 5 children, and it's just, we've been so blessed. We've figured out that when you say yes to God, He can multiply your blessings, and that's what's happened with our family.
How old were your children when you decided to adopt? Did you adopt first, or did you have biological children?
We had our biological children first, and we knew from the start of our relationship that adoption is something that we wanted to do. It's a very complex issue. There are multiple ways to adopt, and we researched them all, and they're all great ways. And it just took us some time to get it together, and took us some time to take that leap of faith, because there are lots of things that go into adopting. And it seems complicated, but it's really not. I think that if there's anyone out there that's considering it, jump in, say yes, and then God will work out the details later.
And how old were your adoptive children when you adopted them?
Well, when they came home, they were 6 and 8. And then our oldest just came home. She was 12, and she turned 13 August 29th.
I think one of the interesting things on their story is their 3 children that they adopted from Haiti are blood relatives. They are siblings, and they had 2 other siblings that from Haiti that were adopted by another family here in town. So you have 5 siblings relocated from Haiti from dire circumstances. And they are now here in Princeton, all in the same community, all in the same church. And it's really a great story. They adopted the first 2, and then for them, the emotional roller coaster was severe in knowing that now there was a 5th sibling there still in Haiti, and that desire to have them united.
Yeah, God orchestrated all this incredibly well. We jumped into the adoption process back in 2012, and then the Wynn family, Brian and Johanna Wynn, were also involved in the adoption process, but they began their journey in the Democratic Republic of Congo. After 2 failed adoption attempts there, laws changed, lots of things had to happen, and they became eligible to adopt from Haiti. When they first started, they weren't old enough. But as time went on, they went through the 2 failed adoptions, laws changed, they became eligible to adopt from Haiti. Well, we had already been matched with the first 2 that came home, and they were waiting to give us the official referral. And an official referral is where you get your paperwork and you're assigned to these children, and then you get the opportunity to say, yes, I want to adopt them, or you can actually deny a referral. Well, what happened was the Wynns put their paperwork in around the same time, and it just so happened that the 2 siblings of our first 2 that came home they fell right into the same age range as the Wynns of what their paperwork had matched them with. So it just kind of all fell together perfectly for this sibling set of 5 to be able to come here and live in Princeton together. And it's been a blessing for us to watch them be able to grow together and be around each other, and to be able to just be in the same town and same community. It's been extra special for us just to be able to watch that happen.
Yes, I think also, can you tell the listeners about the story about the 3rd child you adopted, and were you aware that there was another sibling from the beginning?
Well, when you get your official referral, you get a stack of papers, all their medical history, family history, things of that nature. And the 5th sibling was mentioned in there. So from the moment we read her name on paper, we began to pray for her. And she was on our hearts from the very beginning, just because we didn't know where she was, or if she was safe, or any of the things. We didn't know anything about her. And then it took us too long to get our first 2 home. And part of the reason for that, we now know, was because their sister ended up showing up at the orphanage about the time we were supposed to bring the other 2 home. And had they come home sooner, we would have never met her, and maybe not even known that she had been relinquished, and maybe this reunification of the 5 siblings wouldn't have happened. So, that helps us understand why we had to wait so long, because I showed up on a visit. It was supposed to be the trip to bring the other 2 home, but we had a glitch in our paperwork and we had to wait. So we met her in October of 2015, and we started the process on her to bring her home in January of 2016, and that's when all 4 of her siblings came to the U.S.
I think one thing that's interesting that people always are curious about is the adjustments that have to be made once they come from a third world country like Haiti. And I know air conditioning is one of those. And you might explain that, plus some other things.
Well, I think people think that the wintertime is going to be the worst time for kids that come from Haiti. But it's really the summertime, because they freeze to death everywhere we go because of air conditioning. And they still do, kind of. The youngest 2, I could say that they're fairly Americanized, but they still have a different body temperature than we do. So it's an issue. Keeping them warm is an issue in the winter if they go outside, which they don't. They don't like to go outside if it's cold. But the summertime, going places, we have to keep jackets in the car. And there's so many cultural differences and things that they've had to adjust to. But, you know, they have hit the ground running since they've been here, and they've flourished. I mean, I want to give a shout out to our public school system. They have embraced all three of these kids, and they're all thriving. And it's because their teachers care about them. Their assistants care about them. Their administrators care about them. And, you know, the kids, I just want to give a shout out to the youth in our community. They've embraced these kids that are different than them, you know. All three of these kids came from a totally different background, totally different culture, spoke a different language. They couldn't speak a word of English when they came home, yet the kids in their classrooms embraced them and made them part of their classrooms and their lives and befriended them. And that's one of the main reasons why these kids have all five of them have flourished in this great community. And it makes a mama's heart proud, you know, when your kids want to go to school and they want to do well, and it's because of the support that they've had in our education system.
Yeah, and I do think that, you know, when you see the heart of people that want to adopt, there are challenges, you know, when they first encounter an escalator or when they first encounter an elevator, or there are so many things that we take for granted that might shock them, might scare them, and they just don't know what it is. But adoption care can be very difficult, but if you have a heart for it, you are able to wade through those difficulties. And it's, you know, it's a sad fact. There are 147 million orphans across this globe, and it takes adopting them one at a time. Melissa and Brock went the international route, which is, number one, it's expensive. And it's an emotional nightmare because you can think it's almost happening, and then all of a sudden something will happen in that foreign government and you'll get derailed. And it's difficult to deal with. You wonder why, but yet you stay the course, which is what they did. We have, and people say, well, foreign adoption is not for me. There's certainly plenty of adoptions domestically that can happen. Foster care is a great crisis in our state and our country. Kentucky has the second highest rate of children who've been removed from the home because of child abuse or neglect in this country. Sunrise Children's Services, which is an agency of the Kentucky Baptist Convention, 5 years ago they had 450 children in their care. Today they have over 1,300, and the number continues to rise. So foster care, people can foster care if they are not in position, whether age or whatever reason, to foster care. There are things they can do to help foster care parents and be involved. I would encourage, most people in town know how to get hold of me, and I would be glad to steer them in the right direction. We're also looking for the state sent out a news release about end of September saying a desperate need for people to serve on a foster care review board for Caldwell and Lyon counties. And so I'm in the process of I committed to the AOC organization to find 10 people who would serve on that foster care review board for our counties. So if I come knocking on your door, I'm looking for a volunteer. So
Chip, for those who don't know how to get a hold of you.
Okay, yes. They can, first of all, they can call the Times Leader while I'm retired from there. They will direct them to me. That might be the easiest way. But my cell number, 270-963-0475. And I still have my Times Leader email, which is Chip Hutcheson, and that's HUTCHESON @timesleader.net.
And for those of you that did not get that, we, of course, will have the video up on YouTube after the show, so you can access that if you need that number again. Melissa, that is an amazing story. That is just an awesome story. And I'm assuming that was it a girl, the 12-year-old that you brought home?
Yes.
3 months ago? Mm-hmm. That's the last of that family?
Yes.
So all of those children have been reunited?
Yes, ma'am. And if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, well, I can't do that. Let me tell you, yes, you can. First of all, I'm a mother of 5 kids. I never thought I would be a mother of 5 kids. When I was 22 years old, I didn't want children. But
Wow.
God has a way of changing your heart and equipping you and giving you passion about whatever it is that He wants you to fulfill. And the second thing is, even if you can't, you can get involved in so many other ways. Sunrise Children's Service is a great way. Go to sunrise.org. They have a list, 10 ways you can help. You can help financially by supporting these children. You can donate monthly. You can donate in one sum. You can give financially, but you can also give encouragement. There are so many families in this community who are in the middle of adoption, who have adopted, or in foster care, who are involved in those things. Support them, encourage them, pray for them. Some of the best ways that people supported us was just giving us a word of encouragement. And that goes a very long way. Sometimes that means more than a monetary donation. So, yes, you can help, and we have an orphan crisis, and not only in this country but across the world. And we can all help, regardless of your religious affiliation or religious beliefs. We need to show compassion as human beings, and humans are valuable, and we need to understand that. And if we can get there, our country will be a better place and our world will be a better place. But we've got to understand the value of human beings.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And she mentioned, Melissa was correct in mentioning, the Lord's influence on her and Brock in their guiding their process. And there are times you don't understand why there are delays, but there are reasons for that. But Scripture is clear. God, from Psalm 68, is Father of the fatherless. That says He places the lonely in families. His desire is not that government raise kids, that government cares for kids, that children be placed in homes. And it's very well explained, I think, through the story of the Good Samaritan, who the man who is described as having compassion was the one who looked and saw the need and then addressed the need to the injured man, took care of him, even though he knew it was going to be costly, even though he knew it was going to be inconvenient. And that's what they've done. Melissa mentioned the encouragement, which is certainly needed. Our son and his wife, right after they got married, before they got married, they knew they were going to adopt before they did anything else. And people don't know how emotionally stressful that is, especially when you're dealing with an international adoption. But the blessings far outweigh the trials and tribulations you go through.
Just like childbirth, right?
Absolutely.
Just like
it was just a little longer.
Yes, yes. Well, folks, we sure do appreciate you joining us this morning. I know we could probably spend the rest of the hour and on into the noon hour discussing this topic, and we would like to have you back again sometime to talk about this. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up this morning?
I would reiterate what Melissa said about finding ways to be involved, because we will be held accountable. If you go down the road and you're speeding and the policeman stops you and you say, well, I didn't know it was this speed limit. Well, in the eyes of the law, ignorance is no excuse. And so that's, I think, our message is ignorance is no excuse. We encourage people to open their eyes, see the need, and find a way to help. And I certainly commend Melissa and Brock. We love being around their children. And I will say, they all 5 are their children. They're not your real children. They're all your children.
Yeah, it's amazing how incredible it's like they've always been part of our family. God never intended orphans to exist, but He can make beauty from ashes. And that's been the most incredible thing about this is through the struggles, through the hardships, through the traumatic experiences that my kids have been through to become orphans in the first place, God continues to just wipe away that and create the beautiful thing we call our family.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And
Thank
again,
you.
we would like to have you back in the future.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.